how long would the battery last? Or do they have more than battery?
Hey, how you doing?
Good
Always
evening.
good. Thanks so much for coming. I need.
Yep. 30 years. Probably longer than that.
All right. I need the. I see the email, but the contact for super seniors. I've cleaned out. And
I'll give my ear out. Yep.
okay. No, because mine. It's not brand new.
There are organizations that do
It looks like a great representative.
Let me know.
Yes.
Yes.
From six.
Okay.
There she is.
But everything else is well?
Everything else is fine.
You sure?
Well, I'm trying to catch up.
You got my vote for president.
Well, let's see after the PowerPoint. We'll see.
You'll still have it.
Did you all do the PowerPoint budget? We did. We made copies.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started as soon as we get a quorum, so please feel free to continue on, and we'll get started in just a moment.
So, all in all, what did you get out of your electric car experience?
I loved it. Charging stations, but we get there, it's like it's on target. We can include.
Is he still the assistant? Still?
But then when sometimes you ride in there, you're like, it's open. And then of course there's charging stations on the corner. I'm sorry.
Time waits for no man.
Good afternoon. Okay, we'll get started as soon as you settle.
No. Say it after me, then. Repeat it. Time waits for no man.
I'm all for that.
If you said your man voice,
Time waits for no man.
Or woman.
Storm. It's a whole minute past when I said it. 6:05 p.m.
Okay. Really? I don't know what Snyder's
That time stands still.
I'm ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. We now have a quorum, so we're going to prepare for the meeting. So we'll have everyone, if you have your cell phones, if you can just place those on vibrate, and we'll get started momentarily.
Call for roll call.
Thank you so much. At this time, we're going to call the Town of Mangonia Park Town Council meeting of July 15th, 2025 into session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Alberry.
Here.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Here.
And
Here.
Councilmember McConnell. Thank you.
Thanks so much. We do have a quorum. So at this time, let us stand for our invocation, please. Most kind and gracious Father, we thank you again for this opportunity that you've given us to be able to come and to just officiate and make decisions on those that we've been elected to and appointed to serve. We pray now that all that we say and do will be pleasing, we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I'll pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Be seated. So just as we're preparing to attend to our agenda, let the record reflect that Councilwoman Webb is joining the dais. So at this time, we're going to ask if there's any additions, deletions, or substitutions to the agenda.
No, sir, not from staff.
Okay, hearing so, is there a motion that we approve the agenda as submitted?
Mr. Mayor, so move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. And if you're following along with us, whether you're in person or online, all items on the agenda that are annotated with an asterisk are considered for our consent agenda. At this time, we have none annotated, but are there any items to be considered for the consent agenda?
None from staff.
Thank you so much. With that, we'll continue on our agenda, and feel free to follow along with us. Our next item is item 4A, and this is a legislative session presentation by our representative, Javante Tay Edmonds, who's our Florida House representative for our district there in Tallahassee. So we're going to turn the floor over to Mr. Edmonds, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. Can everyone hear me? Perfect. Mayor, Town Manager, Town Clerk, our fabulous council members, thank you so much for having me. I just want to give a brief update on what happened in Tallahassee. By chance, do you all have the PowerPoint in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're speaking to the same information. And so I am honored since March 8th, 2022 to represent House District 88, which encompasses Lake Park, Riviera Beach, West Palm Beach, Mangonia Park, and Royal Palm Beach. So this year, legislative session was very interesting. Typically, when we go to Tallahassee, we are supposed to be there for 60 days to decide the budget and fight the bad bills and pass good ones. This particular year, we extended it to 105 days, which was unprecedented. We passed the budget almost 2 days before the deadline, so it was an interesting experience to watch it all play out. While we're in Tallahassee, we see over 2,000 pieces of legislation. Each legislation can be a page or can even be 680 pages, all depends on what that topic is. Along with seeing over 2,000 pieces of legislation, we also saw 2,000 appropriation. If you turn to the next page, it shows the body of the Florida House of Representatives. The Florida House is made up of 120 members, and if you can read the numbers, there are 87 Republicans and 33 Democrats, which means that there is a super majority in the Florida House and a super majority in the Florida Senate. Basically, it gives you almost unfeathered power. And as you can see in 2026, all seats will be up for election. It's an exciting time. Next page is about the committees that I serve on. I'm very proud to be the ranking member for the Health Professions and Program Committee. If you flip the page after that, it's about all the legislation that I put forth. Each member of the Florida House has the opportunity to pass 7 pieces of legislation. If you look at my legislation, it's really focused on education, housing, and making sure that those who are oftentimes forgotten gets rights. Next page is the appropriations. This is what is important. How much money are we bringing home as elected officials? Our constitutional duty is to pass the budget, but it is also incumbent upon us to bring money home to help fund projects. And I'm proud to say, I think this is my first year getting some money from Mangonia Park. We might have got some our first year, but we brought $100,000 home, thankfully, to have a street repavement. So you all will be receiving a check from the state. I had to give a shout out to the lobbyist, Sean Pittman, who does a phenomenal job. Also want to thank Town Manager Metcalf for coming up to Tallahassee, being a great advocate, showing us what needs to get done. And I really hope and pray we get that water plant funding next session. So if you all can see, I brought almost $6 million home, 8 different projects. Unfortunately, when it got to the governor's hands, he did veto 6 out of 8 of my project. It's the life of a Democrat. If you go to the next page, you will see that we passed a historical budget of $117.4 billion. Now this is huge. I like to put this number into perspective because you hear this number, $117 billion. Yes, it's a lot of money. But if you put that in perspective, if Florida was a country, it will be the 16th largest economic engine in the world. So Florida has more money than, let's say, Mexico, Venezuela. And so we have the authority and power to do a lot of different things here in Florida to really help affordability. We just have to make sure the leadership is focused on doing so. And we're working diligently to make sure of that. Some key standouts in the budget: we allocated $47 billion to health and human services. That is the only silo that actually did not get cut. Every single silo from education, transportation, state government, everything was cut. But health and human services was actually increased this particular year. Also notable is that we allocated $4 billion to school choice. So those are the scholarships, those $10,000 grants, the $8,000 scholarships that have been spread out throughout the state of Florida. Florida is probably ranking, I think, 1 or 2 in actually spreading out these scholarship dollars. It's good it gets access to kids, but it's also bad that it takes away funding from our public schools. So it's something that we all should be aware of. But if it's out there, I would suggest you take advantage of it. Also, what was notable is $830 million into early state debt repayment. If you all are not aware, Florida, I hate to be so simple and colloquial and say Florida's going broke, but that's the simple truth. Right now, we're looking at by 2030, a huge baby boomer population will be retiring. That means we're not going to be bringing in income as we once did. And I'm going to talk about a little further. We also have eliminated the business tax. So those commercial properties, those taxes that used to come back to the state, that tax is now eliminated, and there has not been a proposal to substitute that income. So you're going to see a huge deficit coming for the state of Florida. A lot of programs, a lot of services will be cut, to the point this particular year there was over 2,000 state positions cut during this particular budget. $5 billion was allocated to the rainy day fund, and we are looking at a constitutional amendment to increase the amount of reserves that we can take from 10% to 25%. Now, I started by saying we stayed in Tallahassee not for 60 days, but 105 days, and that was because of the tax package. I'll try to break it down like this. In the Florida House, we said we want our budget to be $113 billion. The Florida Senate said we want our budget to be $117 billion. Now we have a $4 billion difference. The governor came in and he said we want the budget to be $115. Everybody had their own opinion about how the tax package should work. At the end of the day, we did meet in the middle at 115 due to the governor's veto. It did increase to 117. But the big deal was in the House, we wanted to make a historic cut for a sales tax from 6% to 5.25%. In the Florida Senate, they wanted to do a tax write-off for everything under $75 that was consistent of clothing and supplies and resources. At the end of the day, the Senate got pretty much what they wanted. There is going to be a permanent tax removal of items that are $75 or less that are clothing. And then they also got the elimination of the business tax. Currently, the business tax is 2%. At the end of this year, it will move to 1%. The year after, it will be therefore eliminated. And again, that is a huge revenue stream for the state of Florida. It does give relief, right? You no longer have to pay a 2% business tax on the property that you own and lease out. And then the leasee no longer may have to take that burden that was being passed down. So it will help people who own property and maybe who are leasees, but at the end of the day, that is a huge cut to the revenue for the state of Florida. Also notably, our first responders, our law enforcement, they will receive a 10% increase. Oh, okay. Well, Florida Highway Patrol, everything state-wise, and a 10% increase for our firefighters as well. And if they've been working over 5 years plus, it will be a 15% increase. We're going to figure out how we include you guys, trust me, okay? Now, if you flip to the next page, we're going to talk about the most important thing that everyone cares about here, at least in Palm Beach County or in South Florida: insurance. Absolutely nothing was done. And I'm remiss to say that because there were proposals put forth, such as if there is a hurricane, after an insurance company cannot drop a resident after 30 days of that hurricane. There also was legislation around how we litigate insurance claims. Currently, if you sue an insurance company and you win, you still have to pay your attorney costs. We want to say if I sue the insurance company and I win, you pay my attorney costs as well. So there was legislation put forth to hopefully stop some of those claims or people from being dropped, but nothing was heard. What they did do, which was very interesting though, I will say this, is that they did subpoena the leadership of insurance companies to come to the table and tell us why there's no rates being decreased in the state of Florida. I don't think it was very productive. Not many answers were heard. More questions arose. to the point that we saw insurance CEOs receiving $50 million a year salary and $1 billion put away into shell companies. So what it left us was with more questions than answers. But I am proud of them for subpoenaing and bringing them forward to ask them questions. I hope we can do more in this upcoming session. The program that you should care about the most, probably the best program that we pass each session for the past couple years, is the My Safe Florida Home program. I talk about it every time I do a town hall here. It's the $10,000 grant to fix your roof, your windows, your doors, to the point that I am doing a My Safe Florida Home registration party with the HOA of North Shore to teach people how to sign up for that particular program. It is going to be via Zoom, so I will invite all of you. Everyone will be welcome to that. For those folks who are trying to move into a new home, the Hometown Heroes program was funded. The Florida Association of Community Action, FACA, they also offer first-time homebuyers program and utility assistance. So those programs are actually very innovative and helpful. So if you do have residents who are trying to move into a new home, those are the programs you want to refer them to. And we'll move to the next page. Renters didn't get much assistance whatsoever. And actually, one second, if you look at House Bill 913, where it says affordable housing, this is important. You all remember when we passed that not so good Surfside legislation and start requiring all the HOAs and condo associations to ask for assessment fees. Tiffany Lakes, for example, asking for a $20,000 assessment fee. Now those condo associations can get a line of credit to kind of slow down that burden that they're passing on to residents. So they're available to find different avenues to collect that money rather than just saying, you're an owner, you owe me $50,000. So we try to make it a little bit easier on those associations to slow down the bleeding that they were passing through to the residents. Next page is about property tax. I won't go too much in depth because you all know how important property tax are. There is some rhetoric out there saying that we should cut property tax in its entirety. I think it's a great talking point to get people's attention, but it's not a real solution. I was honored to be put on the select committee for property insurance relief, and there were 5 proposals put forth. I don't believe we've met after 2 meetings, so still waiting on a 3rd meeting to see if we have additional solutions. But the 5 proposals put forth was, we're going to let you all decide whether you want to end property taxes. Cities and counties, you have to put it as a referendum, and you all decide whether you want to keep it. Plan 2 was to increase homestead exemption from $50,000 to $500,000. It's going to wipe out almost everybody's tax base. Just the proposals, I'm just going to read them. Let lawmakers change the tax discounts when we want to, so we get to decide when we should move homestead exemption every single year. 4 was to freeze how fast your taxes go up. So that 3% increase you see on your assessed value, instead of it being increased each year, we would slow it down to each 3 years, you would have a 3% increase. Last but not least, if you don't pay taxes, nothing happens. Those are the 5 brilliant proposals put forth by the supermajority. Right now, we are still listening to more proposals. I have my own idea on how we should address property tax. Maybe if you all pull me to the side, I would love to tell you. Next, we'll talk about education. And I'm going to roll through this. We only have a couple more slides left, and I know you all have important business to handle. House Bill 1105, guys, that's the 2nd paragraph. This bill is going to allow the authority of you all to say if you want a public school to become a charter school, you can vote to make that happen. And after that vote, typically the parents and the teachers will have to vote in support of it for it to change. They have eliminated the parents, they have eliminated the teachers, and only the parents will have to vote. So you all can decide, and the parents will have the 2nd vote, and that's how you can convert a public school to a job engine charter school. Next, I don't know if anybody has kids K through 8 in here, but you do need to be prepared because they're going to ban cell phones, meaning that you will have some pushback from your teenagers. So it is an attempt to get kids to focus on curriculum and to stay focused in school. They are also doing a pilot program in the high schools in the northern region of Florida. We passed a number of bills to help identify autism, diabetes, anybody who may be lost and that's on the spectrum. We're going to require athletic coaches to have those level 2 background checks. And we're also going to require an AED in every single school for cardiac emergencies. Lastly, for education, we fought hard to change back that law that was change school start times. We gave it back to the school district to decide what time the school should start, thankfully, because that was going to ruin a lot of things for people. Business, if you're looking at gold or silver, you can now purchase that tax-free. When it comes to SB 1080, I really want you all to investigate this bill, Town Manager. SB 1080 is basically going to say that now if I apply for a permit, you have 5 days to notify me that you received it. You then have 30 days to tell me if something's wrong with my application, and you then have 180 days to tell me if I'm approved or not. I'm not sure what your timelines are currently. I know that it's going to be a little burdensome for those who live in Escambia County or those rural areas like Lafayette. I believe we have the resources here to get those numbers done, but it's something you want to be aware of. If you don't let them know within those time frames, you have to pay that applicant back, and that's something we want to avoid. All right, last slide, you all. SB 1808. Now, I thought this was an interesting bill that was needed, should already been in law. Essentially, it states that if you go to any healthcare facility and you overpay them, they are not required to pay you back for what you overpaid for. Apparently, healthcare facilities were taking those overpayments and just adding it to their bottom line. So now you will be required to make sure you pay me back if I overpaid you somehow. Second, it's not on the page, is that now if I go to a healthcare facility and I have not paid, the healthcare facility has 30 days to notify me before they put me in collections. So it's going to help reduce some of those burdens that people face by getting put into collections. Last bill, Senate Bill 80. You all remember when there was an attempt to build, I think it was a hotel on a state park? Everyone was in outrage. I wish people would do that for insurance, but hey. So we passed a bill that says that you cannot build hotels, anything recreational on a state preserve land, essentially. So that was a good bill passed by our own member of our delegation, Representative Snyder. I also just want to recognize Cariana from our Palm Beach County delegation who is here today. If you have questions about what all the members are doing, she is the person to ask. So with that being said, that's going to conclude my PowerPoint. I would love to take any questions you all may have.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Let's see if there's any questions or comments from here. Any questions or comments for the representative?
Okay.
There are some. They're just gathering.
I get text messages from y'all sometimes about insurance. I'm like, oh, I'm fighting.
While they're gathering their thoughts, that is the one thing. And of course, we see quite often times, and I think it's going to become more prevalent. I think we would all agree that unfortunately for seniors, particularly those with no advocates whatsoever, or
Support.
or anyone to support them,
Mhm.
it is amazing that we're requiring our seniors to pay $8,000–9,000 a year for homeowners insurance.
Still going up.
When their Social Security benefits are about $13,000 a year.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would stand and clap and applaud them for sending out the subpoenas to come in and answer questions, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was probably a dog and pony show at best.
Agreed.
Until something is done, it's really a travesty that we allow insurance companies to come in and cherry pick.
Yeah.
I always said that if I was the governor of the state of Florida, I would simply call every insurance that does business in the state of Florida, whether it's for car, auto insurance, whatever it is, and if you can't open your complete portfolio to all of the residents of Florida, that includes homeowners insurance, I-95 heads north.
100%.
Yeah, 'cause
That's
it makes no sense.
supposed to be the job of the insurance commissioner.
Absolutely.
And not a lot of people can remember his name for a reason. So I mean, we got to get everyone to do their job.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, I think one of the things, and I hope I'm wrong, is that I hope we don't see another 2008, 2009. But when you start considering that individuals start losing their homes, they're going to throw in the keys because they can't afford the insurance, and then you're looking at another economic collapse. And we have the ability to do something about it.
Mhm.
It's just that I understand the difficulties you're facing up there. You know, there are people who see things a little differently. Let me let somebody else. I'm on my soapbox.
No, I fully understand. Thank you, Mayor, for that feedback.
Certainly. All right, so we've gotten our
Thank
questions
you. The
from
mayor
us.
already touched one of my touchy topics,
Yeah, I'm
insurance.
sure.
They say those who feels it knows it. But I want to thank you very much for allowing us to get some monies.
Mhm.
And I was trying to see what we could do differently next year to get us a little bit over that 100 mark, in the 2 3s.
Yeah.
Anything you think we could do differently for next year?
I hate to say it, but we just have to be a little bit more strategic who carries their appropriation. Although I had 8, I still got 80% of my appropriations wiped away. So we just need to know or be very strategic who is the Senate sponsor and just make sure that they have good faith with those making the decisions. I think you all do a phenomenal job when you come up and you advocate, they see your face. But we just gotta figure out how we get past that veto, because this is maybe the 3rd year in a row we got money in the budget and stuff gets vetoed. So we'll definitely work to figure it out and work with your lobbyist team to get some solutions as well.
Thank you. So for property taxes at the bottom, I think you should add number 6, meaning putting back business taxes, and so we don't have to pay property taxes.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea. Why not?
You're looking for suggestions.
I mean, I will take that. Sometimes we reverse legislation all the time, to be honest. And again, once we do away with that business tax, we get our funding from sales tax, business tax, and the federal government, and we just cut business tax. So, yeah, I like your proposal.
Okay, let's go to education now.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the fact that you're banning cell phones, but this is one of the issues I had last year with my own son. So the schools don't have enough electronic devices, and then when we send our own to the schools, they have issues. So I purchased my son a device last year because he was required to use his cell phone, and I didn't want that. And then according to the teacher, she stated that the cell phone was more of an easier access for her because she sent text messages, but my thing is there's also emails. But there were certain things that were blocked because I was sending in my personal device. And then they said, well, the schools don't get enough electronics to either distribute to the students, to either take home or use in the classroom. So how are they going to fix that issue now? Because you're looking at, say, for example, 100 students in block 1 without a cell phone device that they relied on last year because they're so immune to whatever system they had before. And then now school is going to start and they're going to wipe the cell phones out. What is the backup method that we're working with the schools? I tried going to my son's school like 3 times already this week just to figure out what can I do differently so I can start that transition. Because remember, like anything, you can't just say, hey, do this.
Right.
It's a transition effort. So all these changes are happening when school is out. But what I don't hear the schools are saying or sending out messages to us parents is saying, when this goes into effect, this is what we're going to do. Step A, step B, step C, or parents start doing this so this transition can happen.
Right.
What is the backup method? I'm not hearing any of that.
I'm honestly waiting to hear like a town hall like this from our school board members. On top of that, they have to implement new rules on who should be exempt from this policy, such as if you're a caregiver as a student or you have medical issues. So they still have to carve out some rules and policy around this bill. So I am waiting to hear from them as well. One thing I do know though, the 10th largest school district in Palm Beach is Palm Beach County, and we have $5 billion. I think we should have been closed that digital divide, and I would love to work with you to figure out how we make sure we give every kid a laptop. Because I know Comcast, our business community, during COVID, they put in a lot of money to make sure every kid had a laptop. So I don't know where we are now.
They're not doing, even with the internet, it's not free anymore, and it's no longer $10. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Because I had a few calls about that. For like the summer, for the kids that stayed home,
The
that
internet
didn't have
essentials?
internet, was having issues, and they don't do the laptops anymore.
Okay.
I can tell you that part.
We could take on a passion project together, it sounds like. Okay.
Yeah. So let's go now to the exams part where we have the whole spectrum part of it. So one of the things I don't see them emphasize is that whole mental piece part of it for anyone that's on the spectrum. Or I love the part where they're now going to have someone for cardiac or whatever. But then you have to remember there are kids that has different disabilities. And I'm talking from a parent that has a child with a disability that's still having issues with the school district that I believe that needs more training. And I'll probably let the rest of it stay for a different time. But I just believe that when they're putting bills in effect, they can't just highlight just the number or don't realize that there are other disabilities, whether they're mild, severe, chronic, or in between, because I just believe a disability is a disability. It's an inability to not do something that you want to do, but it's just confusing what they're doing within the school district, and stuff like this doesn't really tie their hands to their responsibilities per se. I'm
Agree-
trying to just chop it up without even going personal.
No, I completely understand. The spectrum bill is for if there is a child who may be missing and he's on the spectrum, there's a specific alert that comes out for this particular issue. On the other hand, what we're talking about is how much money and what are the outcomes of that money that we're giving for mental health. So we give $100 million in regards to mental health, which is behavior specialists across the schools, making sure that counselors have some form of education on how to address mental health. The issue is that when I asked in committee, can you tell me what those outcomes look like? Does that mean every guidance counselor has special certifications? Every teacher knows how to identify someone with autism? We don't have a lot of answers towards that, but that is something that we are definitely nailing down, as we've seen a lot of government waste. Just to be very transparent, I mean, they couldn't find 2,000 cars, and so we're $47 million. So we are really being strategic on the things that we're asking from the cities and counties to make sure that we have tangible outcomes moving forward. But if you ask me what's done in the past, they don't know the answer as well.
I believe they need to have special training and special certificates
100%.
in order to do right by our children, to ensure that they're not being left behind or being labeled if they don't need to be labeled, or are their records being
Misdiagnosed.
padded.
And we first got to pay the teachers as well. I mean, 52,000 in Palm Beach County, and teachers marry teachers. Yeah, you get where I'm going. So thank you for those questions, Councilwoman.
Yeah. Thank
Vice
you.
Mayor?
I had two questions I wanted to ask, and since we're on education, the cell phone issue. I can understand the interruption with children playing games and other communications during school hours. However, I also noticed when the school shootings took place around the country, these children were warned by their cell phones.
Correct.
So if they're removing the cell phones from the schools, what emergency awareness is available in each classroom for these children to find, a safe place when these situations occur?
Interesting enough, no one raised that concern.
What?
And during session, we had the school shooting at FSU during session. No one raised the concern, what do we do in an emergency? Now, from my understanding, we do have panic buttons in every classroom. It's on the tag of each student and teacher. So if something does happen, they can push a button on their lanyard, and that should alert law enforcement. I know we have put a lot of money into hardening our schools, making that one point of entrance, but no one has discussed what happens if no one has cell phones and there's a school shooting. No one has discussed that.
Right, because notification is very helpful and it
Right.
saved a lot of these kids. But if there's no way for them to get the warning, letting somebody know that there's a problem, it's okay. But how's it get to the next classroom and down the road?
I will follow up with my chair for education to see how do we actually address that concern, and I can write you an email to make sure you're aware and we can let everybody know as well. Great question.
And what is the date and time of your party?
My party? Which one? The breakfast or which part? Oh, the save. Yeah, I got like 5 events going on. It's August 4th. We're looking to do it around 5 o'clock. We haven't solidified the location. It may be at Grace Episcopal down the street. But as soon as the flyer is done, I'll make sure everybody has that flyer.
5 o'clock, you said?
Yes, we'll have food as well.
Well, I love the fact it'll be Zoom.
Yes.
So that's good.
It's in person and on Zoom.
Okay.
So if you want to come in and join the other residents of the North Shore community, you can. If you want to just sit at home in the pajamas, you can do that as well.
Okay, great. I'll look for that flyer.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll see if there's any other questions or comments. You have anything? No? Okay, so just one thing. Now, as it relates to the health bill, and of course, as Councilwoman Webb was stating, quite oftentimes in school systems they'll have the BHAs, behavioral health analyst.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, ma'am.
Behavioral health analyst
Right.
at a bachelor's level. You really should be at a master's level when you're doing that type of work, but they go through the training. But I wanted to ask, now having the AEDs in the schools are a great thing,
Mhm.
because we see kids now, unfortunately, suffering with these type of situations as well. Do we fund Narcan, however, in the school systems?
Do we find Narcan?
Narcan?
So I passed a law 2 years ago to put Narcan in every single state college and university. The money I used to get that funded came from the lawsuit, the opioid lawsuit.
Mhm.
Now, K through 12, I believe someone put a piece of legislation forth this year. I'm not 100% sure it's passed.
Mm.
So I know in colleges,
Mhm.
yes, it's paid for, and every dorm room has Narcan. But I can find out for you for K through 12.
Okay. So the legislature decided or figured out that there are no overdoses that happen in.
I mean,
high
we,
schools
we,
and
we should,
junior
I
highs.
believe we passed that piece of legislation to
Okay.
put it through K through 12, but I'm 100% sure because I passed that law that is in the state colleges and university.
Okay, alrighty. And for whatever good it is, and I don't know that this is settled and done. I know that you guys have adjourned. However, whatever bright minds came up with the idea that we get rid of property taxes is just beyond me. I'm sure that every person there in both the House and the Senate live in communities, live in houses, and know that when you start taking away property taxes, which sort of pays for local roads and everything else, and support services and infrastructure, and I don't know what bright mind came up with this.
Right. And unfortunately, there are some people circling the ideal around just to sound loud and to get attention. Again, I think it's a dog and pony show, though.
Okay.
But that,
Oh,
I'm sorry,
go right ahead.
on your point, Mayor, is that the final decision or is that just a circling?
It's just circulating. We would have to vote on it in next session, and if we do vote on it and it passes, it would have to go to the 2026 ballot, and then everyone in the state of Florida would have to vote on it.
That seems to be absurd as
Oh,
well,
well.
especially with your comment about Florida's going broke.
Yes.
So why would you turn around and eliminate business tax? I don't see the sense in that.
Yeah, they want us to be broke.
Why would we try to reduce the sales tax from 6% to 5.25? And once we reduce it, we're not going to ever increase it again. So,
Yeah.
great talking points for
Absolutely.
some.
Well, and then too, I'm sure that what will happen is that municipalities, cities and municipalities will enter into maybe service taxes or whatever we want to call it,
Mhm.
to try and make up the difference. Because when you start now, all of a sudden, for little towns like ours, you take away ad valorem, it's just.
It'll wipe out the tax base and increase homestead exemption as well. That's
Yeah.
double trouble.
Oh, absolutely. And so we thank you so much for all you, we know it's a battle. And anytime that you can turn the heads of those individuals who come up with these kind of ideas to what actually needs to be attended to. And I know you fight to do that.
Yeah.
Until we control the cost of insurance in the state of Florida, we're going to continue to have people exiting, getting out of here, and so forth. And thanks for all you do.
Thank you so
I know
much,
it's a
Mayor.
battle. Thanks for all you do.
Please come by and continue to come by when you're in Tallahassee. Yes,
Oh,
Council.
absolutely.
Early childhood education.
Yes, ma'am.
So I realize you says, how does this bill or how much you brought in affect ELCs or the coalitions? Because as is, I'm going to emphasize again, parent fees. There's a lot circulating
Yeah.
around there, I tell you, and I'm like, should I just close my doors and get it done and over with? Because I have parents already starting to like blow up my phone, like
I think
all
the-
the changes that are coming in and.
The worst part about this job is that I hate that I can never really deliver good news. VPK was slashed.
I know.
And the only reason, I don't want to give myself credit, but me and the chair had a real deep conversation about how do we increase this budget. And basically we came up that because we're increasing minimum wage, we have to account for that difference. And that's why we added a little bit money back into the budget, but they still cut the majority of the budget. The only thing that really survived this year was the healthcare budget. Everything else got cut.
But you're saying minimum wage is being increased, but us childcare providers we don't benefit or see that increase. And then, as is with all these slashing and changes, we're still, especially early Head Start, we're still have to put in, and people would be like, oh, they're in childcare, they're making a lot of money, don't realize the overhead is like
Their
draining,
argument,
and with diapers.
The argument is that we're producing less children in the state of Florida. So because we have less children in the state of Florida,
I have a waiting list.
it'll be less funding as well.
I have a waiting list.
Wow.
I
The thing
don't know where did they come up with that census, but
Yep, we're South Florida. We're so different than, I keep saying Escambia. I just think it's a great example. Escambia and Lafayette. Glades County only has 13,000 people total. We're different, and Tallahassee does not accommodate for us being the donor county, giving the most of the tax base in the state of Florida. They still don't accommodate for us. So it's an interesting time, but I think we have some good proposals and ideas that will be heard in that session.
okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
And for the persons who said, well, we're having less kids, just
Yeah.
keep in mind too now that insurances are now paying for men to be able to produce, and then abortion is gone. It defies rationale to
Yes.
think that you took away safeguards, right, and I'm not advocating one way or the other,
Right.
but yet the rate of birth is going to go down. It's just.
And I can't give you a presentation on the big beautiful bill, but I do want you all to see how that is going to juxtapose against what we just passed in the state legislature when it comes to cutting Medicaid and all those SNAP programs. We're not going to put money back into the budget to help the deficit that the federal government made. So if you lost that funding, you won't be able to look to the state to help you out. And so.
Right. That was going to be my next question and/or statement. And I've been transparent. I work with ACA, and I've ran the Medicaid program and everything else. And so it always boggles my mind how these individuals have these ideas and never talk to anybody with experience.
Yeah.
Right. It's just sort of you get into the ivory tower up there and you just come up with all these ideas. Right, and so that was going to be my question. What are we doing now there as a representative and also in the Senate, understanding what the big ugly bill is going to do as it relates to Medicaid? Because I can see right now, as I've shared with individuals when I talk to them, here's what we need to do. We need to start talking. We need to start looking in our homes. And if there's a vacant room in the house, start preparing that to become either a nursing or assisted living space.
Yeah.
Right, because you're
We're
going
gonna
to
have
come
to.
down and get your loved ones out of these facilities that are closing, like one did in Boca just voluntarily
Right.
because of the immigration issues. I can just see it happening.
And I think the craziest thing is the compound effect of years of legislation. Last year we kicked off 1 million people, they kicked off 1 million people off of Medicaid. And now we don't have any money to reimburse it. And we just put $450 million into building a tent called Alligator Alcatraz. And we're still trying to find out how we lost $57 million and 10 million went to Hope, Florida. So there's a lot of misnomers that needs to be figured out, but we are aware of it and we are on it.
Okay, good, because I know that 55%
Yeah.
match that happens with state feds. Now they're looking to do what, push it, the state share a whole lot higher than
We
that.
still won't take that money. If
Yeah,
we
right, we didn't do it in Florida.
If we would have took that money during COVID, we would have had an extra $6 billion, and we wouldn't be talking about we're about to go broke. I hate playing politics with people. I just care about people, and I wish
There you go.
everybody felt the same.
But absolutely, yeah. And we appreciate it.
No problem.
We know you're fighting, and we appreciate the fight.
But thank you all again for giving me your time today. You all have my cell phone. Anything else, just let me know.
Okay, certainly will. And thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your fine work.
Okay. Alrighty. We certainly appreciate our representative coming and okay. We certainly appreciate our representative coming and presenting to us and just spending a little time with us. At this time, we're going to move on in our agenda. Our next item is item 5, Palm Beach County League of Cities meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a reminder, the next Palm Beach County League meeting is on Wednesday, July 23rd. As I told you at your last meeting, it's at the Tequesta Country Club. That address is 201 Country Club Drive. What I didn't tell you at the last meeting because it hadn't been published yet, but what you're going to get at that meeting is a legislative update from Casey Cook, who's the Chief of Legislative Affairs from the Florida League of Cities. So an RSVP is required for that one, so let Manager Metcalf know if you plan to attend. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments for our meeting?
Mr. Mayor, if I may add to that League of Cities update, so I think you may know Richard Radcliffe has announced his retirement, I think effective 2 months from now. So just thought I'd add that as well.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, he's been around a while. Okay, we're going to miss him. Okay, all right, thanks. We appreciate it.
I just wanted to ask Minnie, the legislative updates, will it be similar to these,
Yeah,
updates?
it's gonna be a similar update, yes, ma'am.
Okay, cause I had some questions on this, so this may be.
And you can, yeah, that's from my office, so you can ask me whatever questions on that, but I expect they're gonna cover the same bills that are of interest to you and the town.
Okay, I do see that there's some that have been approved and some are still in the process of.
What's the date on the one you have? What's the date on the front page of that? All of those should be, the current memo is, everything has been disposed of by the governor, so all the laws have been either passed or vetoed.
Oh, so these just did not pass?
Yeah, the ones at the end, if you're looking at the very bottom, yeah, there's a long list this year, as the representative just said, it was a little bit of a squirrely year in the legislature, so thankfully a lot of those bills that were put forth didn't pass, and those are what you're looking at the end.
Okay, then there are some that do indicate, I think by your office indicating, that we have to do some adjustments in our policies and
That's correct.
codes.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's something that you'll be preparing for us?
Yeah, we'll work with staff, that's right.
All right, well, I'll look forward to that, thank
Mhm.
you.
Okay, so with that, we'll go to our next item, which is item 7A. And this is a request for approval to set the date, time, and place for the first public budget hearing. Ken?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, this is our annual exercise where we have to publicly set the date for our first public budget hearing. And the clerk has coordinated with the school board and also with the county commission's office to make sure that we avoid their hearing dates. So the proposed date, with your approval, is Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. at Town Hall in the William H. Albury III Council Chambers, 1755 East Tiffany Drive, Nangonia Park, Florida. So that would be the recommendation.
Okay. All right, a request has come from administration that we set the date, time certain for September 8th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. Is there a motion to approve that date?
So moved.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Motioned by Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilman Webb. Okay, any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign. It is carried. Thank you so much. All right, next item is item 7B, and this is a request for approval to set the 2025-2026 fiscal year proposed millage rate at 9.9000 mils. Okay.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, kind of the sister to item A. Item B here is a request for council to set the 2025-2026 fiscal year proposed millage rate at 9.9000 mils. Of course, I think everyone knows by now you set the millage rate as we go through the budget process. You can lower that, but you cannot raise that. So that would be the recommendation from staff, and certainly with the news about property taxes being floated around, the recommendation would be the 9.9000.
Yeah, thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments on the item? Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, and of course we would have the official reading into the record at that time. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, motion please.
So moved.
It has been moved that we set the millage rate for fiscal year 2025-2026 at 9.9000 mils. Is there a second?
I
Second.
second.
Properly moved and seconded. Is there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. It is carried. Thanks so much. Our next item is item 7C. This is a request for authorization to approve the installation of a high service pump panel upgrade at the water treatment plant at 5705 Kendallwood. Okay. Can you have anything as our director's coming forward?
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, good evening.
Mayor. Yes, this item here has been on the top of my list since I got here in March. The water plant is in dire straits of being upgraded when it comes to those panels and controls, the automation of the plant. There's no really schematics and drawings to how the system works. So I reached out to CC Controls, and then Salvador here to come in and give me some expertise on this. You know, we kind of know what we want the system to do. And I explained it to them, and then they told me what it can be done with this system. So CC Controls came in because they're a large company and they do large water plants, a whole lot of upgrades to brand new plants when they're coming online. And this other vendor here, he's a instrumentation. This is all instrumentation, mostly instrumentation work. So it's technical work, not just electrical work. It's, you know, to get this part to move this motor comes on, this starts. It's a whole lot of automation to it. And CC Control's been around for quite a while. And they've been doing this for a long time. So they came in at this quote with $40,100, and then this other instrumentation take that we had looked at the system and help us out. It's small, just a single guy, it's not a company, and he came in with this lower quote. So to get the system the way we need it, Mr. Mayor, Council, we need to bring in someone like CC Controls that really knows how to automate a water treatment plant.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Anything else before questions or comments? Okay. So, any questions, Ken?
I'd just say that would be the recommendation from staff for that reason, and we're comfortable with that. But certainly we'll answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. That's okay. Alrighty, so we do have a recommendation from administration. Just for the record, just on the normal processes, when a recommendation comes, it can serve as the official motion. But our process has been, we sort of had someone do so. So at this point, just if we may, let's see if there's any questions or comments. Vice Mayor?
I appreciate the visual aspects of this difference in the quotes. Because once I looked, first I questioned the difference in the price. And I says, well, is CC Schematics doing that because they know they've done work with us and they know that, you know, they could ask for big bucks. But I had not really seen the write-up at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But now I see all the things that they have listed.
Oh, yeah.
All these things that they're listed is what they're covering for
Yes.
$40,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Compared to the other list?
No comparison.
No contest. No contest. I mean, I was gonna say, ask CC's to drop their price some because they're so far from the contender's price. But when I look at the paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
That confirms that.
It's there.
It's a valid price.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I appreciate the details.
Okay. Other comments or questions?
Yes, that, I guess, me and the manager talked about it a little bit. But the feeling is that you're gonna get it totally taken care of for $40,100. Or you can go with the cheap one, and you can pay a little now, and a little later, and a little later. So, I have to agree with the administration on that. We need to go with the $40,100 and get it taken care of, period.
I agree.
Not have to come back in 6 months or a year and do it again.
Okay. Okay.
Is there somewhere in here where they'll probably, or we could recommend, or I don't know if this is totally off. So I was looking at the things that has to be replaced, the water pump. You know, accidents and things happen, but to just basically do an analysis to see what are the needs and the wants as it relates to the water plant and the pumps and the generators, etc. Just like a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
So say for example, we just replaced a pump, even though it has warranty. Trying to figure out if I'm saying it right. So therefore, they'll have a needs and a wants list per se. Instead of something breaking and then we go and fix it, or it needs to be replaced. But seeing and noticing that there's an issue, or there probably an issue before,
Mhm.
as it relates to wear and tear, or,
At the water plant right now, as we speak, there's spare pumps now. We have in redundancy. If we lose a pump, we have a pump in standby. But actually we have 2 brand new pumps, and the total we have for high service pumps is 3. And we have like 2 on the shelf, spare, new now. So if we run into any problems with a motor, and those are the most expensive parts to that, those motors. So when CC Controls come in, they're gonna come in and they're gonna look at all the parts. They're gonna put everything in new, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it says a year warranty on there, a year warranty. And I'm pretty sure if we may want some more extended warranty, maybe we can get some more warranty.
yeah, I asked about that.
I will ask about that. Matter of fact, I already reached out to them about maybe some more extended warranty. There's not that many moving parts at the water plant, but they all are very important. We have 3 high service pumps, but what the issue is that Mayor, Council, is that we have 3 high service pumps and 2 always running. And if one cuts out, that third one won't come on because we don't have the automation. And if this happened 2 o'clock in the morning, we could run into citywide boil water because we can't get to it in time. Someone have to physically go there and turn that on, or physically go to the interconnect. So those things need to be automated.
Okay.
And when I came in March, and I was like, I gotta come from 6th Avenue, get up here before this pressure drop, and it probably gonna happen. It need to be automated.
That's cool. Now, just before we continue, let the record reflect that Vice Mayor Johnson had to leave the dais. Councilman McConnell?
We're not talking about replacing pumps. Am I
No,
correct?
no, they're not.
Talking
Actually,
about-
they're gonna be putting in a.
We're talking about a pump panel upgrade.
Yes.
So if you, without this upgrade, and you got 3 pumps,
Mhm.
did the old one fail? Is that what, it didn't turn the extra pump on?
One of them
Is that-
failed. One of them failed, and the other one wasn't automated to come on, and it had some issues.
So this new panel, if one goes down, it's gonna automatically start the other one up.
Yes, sir.
So that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're not talking about replacing the pump.
No. Talking about putting in a PLC. PLC, it controls all the moving parts, which we don't have now. We just kind of have it all wired together. When this motor comes on, this pump comes on, it's not automated like.
So what you're saying is, when this company comes in, they're gonna evaluate everything. And I'm sure if there's a change in the price, then we'll be hearing about it.
It shouldn't be a change in this price. It should not be a change in this price. This is the price. If we want something else, maybe down the road it'll be a change. If we desire something else, but I pretty much asked for turnkey. This need to be automated, and all the parts need to work.
Alrighty. Okay, so with the proposal, the evaluation in terms of everything that's needed has already been done, and that's all incorporated in the proposal.
It's in here.
Okay. So now, however, it looks as if just reading through it that there's the potential for some cost overrun. For instance, and correct me, because I stand to be corrected. For instance, just as an example, quote, does not include any panel mounting hardware. They're going to be installing a panel, correct?
They're going to be installing it.
Okay, and the hardware isn't included, according to what they're saying here, is one of the exceptions.
I asked him that question about that, and he said that everything was going to be included, so maybe he need to change that language in there.
Okay.
I didn't get that part
Mhm.
when he said that.
Also, if we can clarify, because of course we're going to have the
Right.
document completed. There's some things. Okay, that one particularly jumped out because how do you mount the panel without the hardware
Mhm.
if it's not inclusive as well? So, okay. Alrighty. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Alrighty. And so our director is going to reach out to them and just depending upon the decision of the council here tonight to get some clarity on that so that when we get the document prepared to go out, if indeed it's approved. Okay. Alrighty. Any other questions or comments?
Oh, the extended warranty, would you be able to get warranty, is it going to be after the year is up, or do you have to get it before or while you're getting the service?
I would ask that question. Do we have to get it before?
Okay.
I'm almost certain.
And what does it cover exactly, because some extended warranty,
Okay, so we'll get the cost and coverage. Okay.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Anything from administration? Okay. Hearing none. What is your pleasure?
I so move we approve.
Okay, approve CC or the other?
It'll be both sections. Are we waiting for them to come back with the answers?
We wouldn't have to hold up
Or-
anything tonight. If there's an extended warranty, we can
Yeah.
always bring that back as a separate item.
Okay.
Yeah, because we would, if indeed we're gonna approve one of these tonight, then we don't want to have another situation take place.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Yeah.
No, hasn't been moved yet.
But she
We need,
did- she-
right, which item?
It would be both of them.
No, the motion would be to approve either CC Control
Mhm.
or Eusebio Sanchez.
The one that's recommended by staff.
Okay,
for
so you're going with
approval.
staff recommendation?
Yeah.
Okay, so your
CC
motion is that
Control.
we approve the proposal?
Yeah.
For CC Control for
Yeah.
40,100?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
noted for the record, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Has been properly moved and seconded, are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell,
Yes.
and Mayor Alberry.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you so much, and then of course we get that clarification and
Okay.
any updates, information regarding the warranty. Okay, while you're there, our next item is item 7D, and this is a request for authorization to purchase a chlorine analyzer for the water treatment plant. Okay.
Now, this chlorine analyzer is something that we really need because of the chlorine. We have to keep a certain amount of chlorine in the system at all time, and we don't have nothing to alarm us at the moment that if something happens to the chlorine pump 2 o'clock in the morning, we just don't have that capability without this analyzer. And the Laserby Associates one is the one we would like to go with because he's gonna come in with some training, and also he's gonna work with the SCADA technician to help tie it all together so it'll ring the director phone or ring someone's phone if this chlorine drop too low or go too high. It would give us a call.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, I thought we had somebody sleeping on a cot in there. But we need this, however. Okay. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, recommendation is coming from our utility plant operator that we approve the proposal or authorize the purchase of the chlorine analyzer from Lazenby and Associates.
Laserby.
In the amount of $5,173.33. What is your pleasure? Is there a motion?
I so move we approve.
Motion has been made that we approve that we approve the grant the request for authorization to Lazenby and Associates Incorporated in the amount of $5,173.33. Is there a second?
Second.
Has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell.
Yes.
And Mayor Alberry.
Yes.
It passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. And thanks so much, Mr. Pinckney. We do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, so with that, all of our action items have been attended to. We'll now go to our public comment section. So if there's any comment from the public, be it in person or online, the floor is now open for public comment.
No. Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, seeing that there's no comment from the public, we'll close the floor to public comment, and we're now back at the dais. So at this time, we're going to go to our reports. Ken?
Mayor and council, thank you for your time and consideration this evening. Just want to let everyone know, you may or may not know, it's certainly been in the manager's report. We are going to lose Melvin.
Yay.
You're going to lose him full-time. We're probably going to try to twist his arm and make him hang around part-time. But he's done a phenomenal job. And some of the things that we're now looking at as management and council, it's just been a different world for us. So yes, we're spending some money, but we're turning a corner at the same time. So just wanted to thank Melvin for that, and I'll look forward to working with him in whatever capacity he sticks around with. So thank you for Melvin. Wanted to remind council that Sunday, August 3rd, at the park from 1 to 4 is our annual Heritage Festival and Back to School Bash. That's our school supply giveaway. And we look forward to seeing Councilman McConnell behind the grill. And we look forward to helping some parents out by giving away school supplies. So we'll have a lot of activities going on that day. This Thursday, from 3 until 4 here in the council chambers, and we're going to ask for your assistance on this. We're going to honor our summer reading program kids. We've had a very active group, and it's just been a phenomenal summer with them. So if you'll join us from 3 to 4 on Thursday, staff has got some nice things planned for them. Okay. Otherwise, Mr. Mayor, I don't have anything else. If you have any questions for me, or I'd simply defer to the weekly manager's report.
Thank you so much. And just to the utility plant director's position, now we did say, and I've heard me say before, duct tape does work, so we'll duct tape him to the office over there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We'll feed you. Okay. Okay. Well, we're sort of hoping that you'll stay on it, but we'll talk offline. Okay. Alrighty. So with that, PBSO.
As submitted.
Okay, thank you so much. And we did have he left, our major. I always want to acknowledge when he's here. Of course, we do have Galati and our captain here as well. Jalati and our captain here as well. Okay, alrighty. Any questions or comments for PBSO?
Ken wanted to introduce our newest employee.
The clerk wanted to introduce our new employee.
We forced her to attend this meeting to see if she would stay. Melissa, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm happy to be part of this family. I'm looking forward for this.
Oh, thank you, and welcome.
I'm my new name, boss.
Thank you.
Well, thanks
Melissa,
and welcome
you're being
aboard.
recorded, so you can't leave now.
Thank you so much and welcome aboard. Okay. Alrighty. Thanks so much. Okay, so with that, Amiri?
Two quick things for you tonight, Mr. Mayor and Council. One is I think that was distributed to you the Senior Property Enhancement Grant Program documents that we prepared in response to your direction at the May workshop, where I showed up for a little bit of time and you gave me some direction on what you'd like to see. So I believe the documents that I sent to Ken, that I think he's forwarded to you, track with what your intent was. So if there's any comments that you have, what I asked Manager Metcalf to do is send it to you in advance. There's a resolution that needs to be passed, so we wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to comment before we put it on a formal agenda, so that's why it's part of the backup for tonight's meeting. So if there's anything in there that I didn't get right based on your direction, let me know and I'll make revisions, but I think based on the notes that I had from that meeting, I think it's consistent with your direction. So if you have any comments, feel free to reach out either by email or phone, or let Manager Metcalf know and we'll get it the way you want it.
Thanks so much, and we appreciate it.
And then just a second really quick one. I know that there's been a lot of legislative update tonight, but just our legislative memo should have hit your inbox for the final bills. The legislature, the governor was signing or vetoing right up until the last second this year again. So we sent it out on July 3rd, and then I sent an addendum actually yesterday, but I just wanted to call to your attention the one that the representative noted is a big one, SB 180, with regard to acknowledging receipt of applications for development projects. That is a big change to the statute, and certainly a big burden to staff to make sure that we're complying with that. Another one I wanted to call to the town's attention is there also is a revision again this year to the Live Local Act. They embedded in the Live Local Act now an award potential for attorney's fees. So if we get sued under Live Local and we do not prevail, we're responsible for paying the other side's, the prevailing party's attorney's fees. So that's a big one for the town to note. Another huge change to planning and development application processing is a change to platting. Not a lot of platting comes down the pipeline here in this town. But plats now are not required to go through public hearings. They have to be administratively approved. So that's one that we're going to have to look at your code and make some necessary updates. But big change. A lot of jurisdictions have multiple public hearings for plat approvals, and they are legislative. They're different in terms of your all's approval. They're not quasi-judicial like most of your development applications are, but a huge change to the state law to eliminate the public hearing requirement for plats. A couple of bills, as I indicated to the Vice Mayor before she left, the list at the end of the memo that I sent is very long of bills that did not pass, and that's a good thing, but I'll say that with a note of caution that many times when bills don't pass one year, they come creeping back right at the next session, and next year's session is early, so it'll start before we know it here. But a couple of bills that didn't pass that I wanted you to be aware of. One is the exemption for municipal clerks with regard to the public records exemption. That did not pass this year. Another one is, and this one failed last year as well, the attempt to increase the sovereign immunity caps. They continue to try to get that from the numbers that they are now up to ridiculous amounts. So that failed again. I would expect we'll see that again next year. And then finally, there was one that was a little surprising this year with regard to eliminating and basically sunsetting or terminating CRAs. That did not pass. I would expect again to probably see some version of that next year, but you have the memo. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer either tonight or after the meeting. There's always a lot to report because the legislature is very active, but I just wanted to give you that brief update. I'm sorry tonight's meeting was a little bit heavy on new laws, but they all went in. Most of them went into effect on July 1st. The other ones go into effect on October 1st. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention since many things became law as of a couple of weeks ago. So that's all I have to report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Oh, and thank you so much. We appreciate it. Are there any questions or comments for the attorney? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go to our council comments. Councilwoman Buchanan-Webb.
I would like to welcome our newest employee.
Yes.
Thank you for anyone on the platform for coming out. I so move.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. All right, McConnell.
Nothing. Welcome you.
Okay. All righty, and thanks so much. And my comment again just simply says that people can come, employees can come, but they can't go.
That's right.
Yeah, so we passed the ordinance a long time ago, so we can't break our ordinance. Okay, thanks everyone for coming out. We really appreciate it, and again, welcome aboard to our new employee. We look forward to big things from all of us. So with that, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, motion for adjournment.
We're going to have Mr. Mayor, we're going to have a short workshop following this.
Yes, after we end this meeting here.
Yeah,
Motion for adjournment? Okay, by Councilwoman Webb, is there a second?
Second.
Has been properly moved in second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign. It is carried. Thanks so much for coming out, and for those who want to stay by, we're going to have a brief budget meeting right after this. We're going to take about 5 minutes, and then we get right back into that session.
No, Melvin's staying.
Oh, he is? Oh, get it all out of him, Ken.
Absolutely. Well said.
We have,
Mr. Mayor.
board cancellations on funds. I don't know if you're saying you're still taking your kids.
Anything of concern or note, or updates or anything like that? If not,
No.
okay, no.
No response yet, but as soon as we get one, I'll call.
Okay.
But no, nothing
Yeah,
new.
but it's,
So
I
we'll
don't even
just
know
wait
why
until
they're
we get
charging
to-
that much for kids.
Okay, so we did send out last month. Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I didn't
But we
realize you
can
did,
send
but
it.
yes, we did. We just basically acknowledged the
Okay.
and called out a few inaccuracies in response to the letter, so, but no response.
I bragged him about Monday. Brag.
But yes,
I called kudos to me on Saturday. And didn't give me no kudos.
That got my attention.
This, my town manager and Pastor Ferguson, he didn't say Captain Thomas or Sherry O'Leary.
You were there.
It doesn't matter, that's why you should say, hey, look who's here, supporting me. Saturday.
Oh, no.
He did a wonderful job. Well, Harold's real cute, that color was very becoming. Even green, you would think wasn't big on bottom piece, it wouldn't even brighten up anything on your face, but it does, the black and white tips.
I'm telling you,
It's hard to, I mean, really hard to use nothing.
Are you ever here to
You
shoot
guys are
this?
back to the,
There's a few others that are and there's deadlines for if there's deficiencies, you gotta, it ratchets,
Can't come out there like I would.
Well, probably can wear gray though.
and there's a bunch of.
You don't need those
in? Okay.
No, his wife said she
Minnie.
Anybody, yeah.
You'll come back tomorrow?
loves,
Just kidding.
she loves the gray.
Actually, no, I'll be here Thursday morning, but now we're.
Oh,
Not
okay.
really down.
No.
Just a meeting. Yeah. Have a good night, happy budget day. Good to see you. Welcome.
I'm hungry. Just wait. Our meeting date is August 4th. No. Are you all set for my, August 3rd?
Well, as we know it. Yeah, Liza's got, motors, horses, I think.
The horses aren't coming for,
The helicopter, the dogs.
yeah, the helicopter, the dogs, and the SWAT team?
Motorcycles.
Oh, the motorcycle.
Can't get SWAT to do anything there.
Do you have anyone that's a shooter? Do you have, shooters, snipers?
They're part of the sniper, the SWAT team.
The SWAT is considered snipers?
Yeah, it's just a different part of it.
Oh, I would like to see a sniper shoot.
They can't shoot out there. There's not even-
At the park, it's a public park. I can get some of Melvin's friends to be our targets. Melissa, you're free to go. I don't want you to stay any longer than, you shouldn't be punished like that. Thank you for coming, that's very kind. No,
Again, why is it 170?
I'll see you tomorrow. Well, we'll give you a speeding ticket, even though he doesn't do drugs.
Some things are perfect, some things maybe not, but.
This will read, is this eventually read?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Are you
been a
gonna be here
while.
on Thursday from 3 to 4?
I've got, homeless advisory board.
Just let me know, that's what they, just kidding.
Well, we'll have somebody will be here.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna take-
Yeah, I was
It's
trying to-
for any office.
Well, I'll skip out. From the half.
It'll be nice for just to see one.
I got these.
William, are you available?
Another deputy.
Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks, I appreciate it.
Ken says he's gonna do this in 5 minutes.
Say again.
Okay, okay, I thanks so much.
See you, Captain.
Okay, we're ready?
I agree with you, I think it's disgusting.
Okay, we're ready to get started?
They have the imagination.
We're ready? Okay, finish, so moved.
Okay. Alrighty, so at this time,
I hear
we're
you.
gonna go ahead and call the meeting. At this time, we're gonna call the Town of Magnolia Park, budget, hearing, 2025-2026 fiscal year in session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Alberry,
Here.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb, Councilmember McConnell.
Here.
Thank you so much. We do have a quorum. So at this time, we're gonna turn the floor over to our Town Manager, Ken Metcalf.
Mayor and Council, briefly, what I wanted to do, we had good discussion last week, so I wanted to bring the spreadsheet back and, highlight a few things based on the conversations from last week. Revenue has changed a little bit, and I'll be very honest about it, based on the feedback that I received about the tier system with the water, the utility rates. I did tweak the numbers a little bit, and I do think this is still pretty conservative based on some of the figuring that I did. So the amounts for water, fire line, and sewer have changed from last week. Okay. But again, I think they're pretty conservative. We try to stay conservative when we're looking at revenue numbers because a lot of times it's unpredictable. So the other thing, going all the way down to line 15, contingency. And this is simply a number that we're plugging in to balance the budget, and if we need to reduce that, we can, but when we reduce this number, it is also going to cause us to reduce on the expenditure side. So just kind of giving some information there. Hopefully, as the fiscal year, if this passes and we have that amount in contingency on the revenue side, revenues come in better than we expect or that we've budgeted, and that number goes away. Hopefully. Doesn't always work that way, obviously. So where's your contingency come from? You do have a small fund balance on the utility side. You have a much larger fund balance on the general fund side. So some of these projects that we could be talking about with Melvin maybe tonight, we won't bore you with a lot of details, but we do have several projects that we need to accomplish. Okay? Any questions on the revenue side?
Okay, currently in our fund balance, we have this amount or more.
This amount in
186?
the fund balance for utilities, yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Down to the expenditure side, of course, line items 1 through 18, that's all revenue, starting on line 19. And just the items that are highlighted, these are things that come up last week. Line 22 was blank, so we've just kind of put a placeholder on that, just put to be determined. Line 29, it was suggested that we move all the education, training, and travel down to the utility part, so we have done that. And this is the water part. On the sewer side, line 32, I did remove the $50,000 that we had set aside for litigation. And I think what would have to happen there, if we had the need for litigation, I would have to come back to council and say, this is what we're up against, and we're going to need to set aside some money. But for the sake of passing the budget, that number has been eliminated. And if I'll just forewarn you, if we did have to go the litigation route, that money's probably coming from the general fund side. Okay. Line 37, I did increase this number. That's highlighted. Last week we had that at 50,000, and just going through everything. Melvin, you can come up, and that way you can see what I'm talking about. I don't think you have a copy in front of you. Under sewer repairs and maintenance, we did put that back up to 60,000 based on the fact that we've already spent 54,000 this current year. Oh, good. Thank you, Sherry. And, okay, line 40, capital outlay, that's 60,000. That's highlighted. That's the 3 spare lift station pumps that Melvin has requested. So that is in there. Go back up to 39. 39 is the sewer project that's currently happening on Boardman and Lakeshore. That is half of the expenditure. We have half the expenditure in this year's budget, plus an additional 125,000 in that is for the lift station panel rehab at fleet maintenance. We put 125 there. That is probably going to prove out to be a little bit more than what we actually have to spend, but that is put in there as well. Under the utility budget, we did have a blank line. We just put a note in that to be determined. Going down to line 51. So this was a big concern last week because the number on line 51 showed up as 106,000, and as I explained, a lot of that was actually last year's expenditure. So what I did, I went back through and extracted that, and this is the actual number, 22,872 that we've spent in engineering. That is going to increase before the end of the fiscal year. So we probably have a bill that's outstanding that we have, and it will end up closer to that 75, but it's not the 106 that you saw last week. Litigation attorney fees, obviously that's not their professional services. Line 53, I'm sorry, 54, don't have my glasses on. The reason that 15,000 was removed, that was a duplicate from our lobbying services that we have in the general fund side too. I noticed in going through this, we budgeted the full amount for the lobbyist in general fund, and then we had another part of it in utility. But the full amount was actually in the utility fund for this current year. So I've removed that from the utility fund. Okay, and finally on line 63, the highlighted amount, we've increased that. I think I had that at 15,000 last week, but based on what we've expended so far this year, that's gone up to 18,000. And on the reverse, on the opposite page, you see line 71, the education, training, and travel. That expenditure has been moved to this sub-department rather than in the water and sewer. And that's it in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, and if you have questions for Melvin, you know, hit him while he's hot. So.
Okay, questions or comments? Okay, any questions or comments? Now for the, let's go to line 39.
What number, sir? I'm sorry.
Line 39. So
Yes, sir.
Just for clarification, you stated that 875 was for the sewer project at Boardman, fleet maintenance?
Yes, sir. Of that 875, 750 of that would be half of the project. Since we've got it going on now, half of the project will be spent out of this current year, and the other half next year. The remaining 125 of that number is for a lift station panel rehab for lift station fleet maintenance. And again, that number, that 125 is probably a tad high, but we put it in there just in case. And I can tell you that we've had 2 quotes on that already. One is for 87,000 and the other is for 112,000.
Okay. So now, if line 39 consists of the other half, that's going to roll over to the to the upcoming fiscal year, that would be the what, 375,000 or so, plus the 125 wouldn't be 875. Is there something else also included?
No, sir. The other half would be 750. So the entire project is 1.5.
Okay. And when I saw the 750, I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's what we budgeted last year?
Right, right.
Okay.
So it was put in there to do half in one year and half the other year. We knew it would cross over.
Okay. Okay. Okay, 60,000. Okay, okay. And we'll get a chance to go through it as well, but we'll see if there's any other questions before we adjourn. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Any other points of clarity, Ken?
None from management. Melvin, do you
from-
have anything you want to add as far as what we are looking to do?
I think we're moving forward in the right direction of moving, enhancing the water plant and the infrastructure. It's a few lift stations that really need some TLC. So I definitely think we're moving in the right direction. Going out, getting bids, getting prices and everything for upgrading these lift stations, because some of them just, that's what they need. They need it. They really need it. And we getting close. We're hitting storm season, and you know, we run into problem with those lift stations. It could be a problem. It could be a problem. So.
Alrighty. And how's our SCADA system? Is still working?
The
properly?
SCADA system is working. It is working. We got to do a little bit more enhancement work with control work. To right now, the system alerts us if we lose pressure. But if one of those high service pumps cuts off, it's tied to the pressure, but it don't highlight what happened. Like, it won't tell me that high service pump went out. It won't turn red. It like it's running green, and if it's shut off, it should turn red. I can't see that on my SCADA system because I don't have those options. But with CC Control coming in, they're gonna enhance the system so we
Okay.
can actually see this stuff.
Okay, that's part of the enhancement. Okay. Okay, good, good.
Mhm.
Okay, alrighty. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Ken?
Nothing
Melvin?
else, sir, from
Okay.
us.
Okay, great. Seeing that there's no other comments or questions for the budget. Okay. Motion for adjournment?
Second.
Has been properly moved in second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. It is carried. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you
We
very
appreciate
much.
everything. And
Appreciate
okay.
that.
And thanks. And Mr. Pinkney, we'll go to Home Depot and get the roll of tape. 2 rolls of tape.
I'll be around.
Okay.
Ken ain't gonna let me get away that easy.
2 big rolls of duct tape.
Oh yeah, yeah. They got the extra strength now. So
Well, they fixed the shuttle with duct tape.
they fix everything. Fix everything with duct tape.
Yeah.
I think they fixed the Hubble with that as well. Yeah, the arm broke off the Hubble
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.